Before Jesus, I was an atheist, an adulterer, a fornicator. I was a drunk. I was a substance abuser. I was angry. I was greedy. I was gluttonous. If you name it, I've probably done it. I started getting into sexually immoral sins at around 11 to 12, and then at 13 I got drunk for the first time. Whatever made me happy, and even if it came at the expense of other people, I didn't really care. I was at a Super Bowl party and I was drinking pretty heavily. I got in my car and I started driving home, but I don't remember driving home. And I remember waking up the next morning with the anxiety in my own bed, which I don't know how I ended up in my own bed, and just oh, I got drunk again. And then it hit me oh, I drove home. I had to have. And so then immediately I had to think about oh, what about my car? Did I hit anything? Did I hit anyone? What could have happened in that 15-minute drive? And so I had to walk out to my car, and luckily everything was fine. It was in perfect condition, no incidents. And so at that moment I knew that I had to quit drinking at least. But then I got a text from my friends and they asked me to come out drinking, and so I thought maybe I could, maybe I'll just control my drinking and I won't get drunk. And when I went out that night, I drank alcohol and it was just stomach churning. I didn't want it anymore. My body was rejecting it. I was repulsive to it. And so I knew I had to make a gigantic change, and I didn't know what that change looked like. And so I was looking for different universities, what would be the best option for me. My GI Bill didn't cover everything, so I knew I had to find a cheaper option to go to, and Liberty University had an amazing tuition discount. And so I decided, well, we're going to go there. And I knew going into it that it was a Christian school, and not being a Christian at the time, I was actually an atheist. I didn't believe at all in God. I believed in myself. I had decided I can play the part, and so I decided to go to Liberty University. It was through those classes where I started to see God again and see Christ again. When I accepted Jesus back into my life, I didn't really put my full weight into it. There were still moments where I felt unworthy. Even though I had accepted Jesus, I believed in Jesus, I didn't think that I was worthy of Jesus. And so I lived as a lukewarm Christian for about 3 years of accepting Jesus. I wouldn't really read my Bible. I wouldn't really worship God in any way. And then I started dating Emma, my fiance now. And I wanted to make a big point of our relationship is that we were going to go to church. And so we were looking around where would be a good church to attend to.
One night I just stopped by at Todd and Diane's house with my parents, and we were talking about a million other things other than church. And so I had just brought up the fact that we were looking to attend a new church, and they had suggested that they loved Bethel and about how they had both been going there for so many years. And Diane had said about how that next day she was preaching on the tabernacle, and she was like, you should come. And so I approached Andrew with the idea, and we both were just open to it because we had no expectations. We were just open to trying something new. And
walking into Bethel, it was just welcoming, wildly welcoming. They didn't ask where you came from. They were just happy that you were here. About a year after me and Emma started attending Bethel, we decided to become members, and we went through the growth track program. And 2 weeks after that, we got baptized.
Isn't that incredible? I believe you said the other night when we were talking that you were an atheist at one point too, right? Yeah, and here he is knowing God and wanting to identify with the Lord. You guys can walk that way. Awesome.
Since getting baptized, my faith has just exploded. Especially in this last year since being water baptized, everything has just been magnified. I'm just hopeful to, just keep growing. It's better to be a doorman in the house of my Father than to be a king in a tent of sinners. If anybody's watching this that's too far gone, I would just say you're not. I thought I was. I hit some really low moments in my life, and even at those low moments, you don't feel God there. You don't see really God working in that moment, but when you finally come through, when you accept Jesus and you take that moment to take a step back and to look at how, like, I was at some pretty deep, dark moments in my life, but I'm still here. And so something had to have gotten me through that. And there's been steps in my life where I look back and I'm like, man, that had to have been something. It wasn't something of this world. Like the call to stop drinking and finding Emma, and then Emma led to Bethel. And now here I am, baptized and worshiping God. So the series of events, like, you don't see it in the moment, but when you finally make it through and when you just give yourself and surrender yourself to the Lord, you can take that moment to take a step back and be like, wow, he was there that whole time when I was at the lowest and now at the highest.
He is with you no matter where you are. No matter what stage of life you're in, he is by your side. He's walking you through the trials, the tribulations, the tough times. He's there, and he loves you no matter what, and that there's so much more to live for, and that he has so much more to provide for you. And just be open to him, be open to his word, be open to what he has to offer, and he will show you what he has planned for you.